Assalamu alaikum students. I warmly welcome to all of you in the revision video lecture series of the physics. This video is basically for O-1 class. Chapter we are going to revise is chapter number 5, turning effect of the forces. First topic of this chapter is moments. Moment is also known as moment of force and torque. In this lecture we will derive relation for the moment of force and torque, as well as we will also learn about different types of the rotation. We will start our topic with the daily life example of the door. As you can see that I have drawn the diagram of the door. There are two main parts of for the rotation of the door: hinges and handle. Hinges is that fixed point in the wall around which the door rotates, and handle is used for opening or closing purpose, and the point on which you apply the force. The motion produced by the door will be the rotatory motion. Now I have drawn the linear diagram of door. There are 2 points, as we have discussed in the diagram of door, handle as well as hinges. As you can see that I have also drawn the 2 points, hinges as well as the handle. There will be a distance between pivot and handle and hinges. I have named it with the D. The rotation that will be here, you can see that the rotation will be anti-clockwise direction. So by looking at this diagram, we can define what will be the moment of force. The product of force applied F and perpendicular distance D from the pivot to the point of applying force. हैंडल के ऊपर हम जो फोर्स लगा रहे हैं उसका प्रोडक्ट और जो परपेंडिकुलर डिस्टेंस है आपका फ्रॉम द हैंडल टू द पिवट, दैट विल बी नोन एज द टॉर्क. Torque or moment is represented by the symbol tau. It's the Greek word and is represented by tau. Now further on we will derive the relation for the torque. Tau, as there is distance is directly proportional to the turning effect, and force is also directly proportional to the turning effect, which is also known as the torque. So by combining both the relations, tau directly proportional to d cross f, tau will be equal to d cross f. Upon removing the proportionality sign of constant, there comes k, and we can neglect that k because normally the value of k will be taken as 1. So torque, by looking at this formula, torque is depending upon two factors: amount of force which we will apply on the handle and the perpendicular distance, that is from handle to the pivot position. So we will come to derive the unit for torque. It will be having some units. As you know that we measure force in newtons and distance in meters, so the unit of torque will be newtons per meter. Depending upon the condition, if distance is given in centimeters, length, as you know that distance is measured in, according to the base units, the distance is measured in meters. So if the distance is given in centimeters, you will convert that distance into meters, then you will write down its unit. Now further upon, I have as you come to know about that torque depends upon the two factors, that are force as well as perpendicular distance. Upon increasing one factor, there will be a effect on torque. The effect will be that if we increase the one factor, torque will be maximum. If we decrease the other factor, torque will be minimum. As you can clearly see that I have drawn the two diagrams of linear diagrams of the door. So the distance between in first example, the distance between the pivot and the handle is 2 meters and the force applied is 10 Newton. And in second diagram, I have decreased the distance from 2 meter to 1 meter. So upon calculation, as you can see that in first example torque is 20 newtons meter, and in second example the torque produces 10 Newton meter. What happens here, that upon increasing or decreasing, in first example the force remains the constant, but the distance I have increased and decreased some amount, some distance, so the torque in first case is maximum, and by decreasing distance in second example the torque produced is minimum. So hence it is proved that increasing or decreasing of one factor also matters. Now there will be two types of the rotation produced in the door. Uh, um, Upon closing or opening, there will be two types of rotation produced. The first rotation will be clockwise rotation, and the second will be the anti-clockwise rotation. If there is produced clockwise rotation, the torque will be negative. If there is anti-clockwise rotation, the torque will be positive. Summing up this lecture, we have defined what is torque, what is the unit of torque, and what are the factors on which torque depends, and increasing or decreasing one factor, how it affects the torque. So it is so that's all from for this video lecture. I hope that you will listen to this video very carefully. Thank you.